I just realized, I was like, oh my God, I did the whole, I went to America and back.
Yeah, I was going to
I
ask.
forgot that we didn't even fucking talk. I
totally
forgot I did this.
I was going to ask about that, which was, how was the Ludwig chess boxing event?
Good,
behind the scenes, yeah.
So I went to America for about a week. To LA. I say America, it's LA. It's like barely America. It's like a different America.
Yeah, we can now say that now that we've been across America.
I know. I've been to a lot of states, guy. I tried all the local foods, and it's all the same for the most part. But yeah, no. So we went to LA. Went for a week. Mainly went out to watch Chris box, which Chris did very well.
Yeah,
we gotta get him on sometime soon.
I'm proud of my boy for almost throwing the chess part of it.
No. He somehow threw more in the chest than boxing.
Yeah,
I think like literally, like the throwing of the punches didn't happen nearly as much as the throwing of the chest.
Yeah, he had like, what was it, checkmate in 2, and then he ended up just like giving away his queen. I was like,
yeah.
How do you do this?
So obviously,
I was screaming at my fucking TV.
Yeah. So obviously, if you don't know, Chris did chess boxing, a lot of chess boxing event. We've talked about it a bunch. So you all probably know, but if you didn't know, it was just, Chris was boxing someone. In between that, he had chess, and he'd been training about this for months, and we were all very excited for it. And I said to Ludwig and Chris, I was like, hey, if I get front row tickets, I'll go out. Because then in my mind, I was like, all right, well, I'll figure out, I'll find some other work stuff to do to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And luckily I did. But yeah, so I did that. I did Thanksmas as well. Jacksepticeye's Thanksmas. That was so much fun. That was crazy. Had to go after Jack Black, which is nerve-wracking. I keep saying this. I'm like, it is nerve-wracking to see Jack Black kill it. And then you're like, all right, next up we got, who? Sea-Dog? Connor, I guess?
This guy.
Yeah, so it was like kind of crazy. Just seeing him reel. Like, it was like, what the fuck?
Oh, you're a real person.
He's so chill as well.
Yeah.
Of course
he is.
It's like finding out Keanu Reeves is a nice guy. Yeah. It's like, all right, no one is surprised that Jack Black is super chill and nice.
Yeah.
He was just like, dude, everyone in the studio was like doing their job, but you could tell everyone was trying to like get closer to watch. Yeah. It was really cool. Because it was funny enough, it was where we did our rehearsals for the Trash Taste tour.
Was it?
Oh, okay. Really?
It was in the exact same, obviously you guys won't know this, we did rehearsals before we did our Trash Taste tour, and the exact building that we did it in was the same place where Thanksmas was.
Oh, nice.
Which was crazy. That was cool. So I got to see a bunch of the tour staff that we did with. So that was nice. I was like, hi.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
So that was really cool again. We did that, and that was a lot of fun. Jack's great. We had Jack on the pod. He's so fucking nice. Yeah. He's so chill. Got to hang out with him, and that was great. See Aaron again.
Nice.
So that was so much fun. Did that. That was crazy.
Feels like a big family reunion. Everyone who we've met on traveling this past year.
Yeah, right? It was awesome. It was like the highlights, like seeing everyone, like the final anime. It felt like when I said bye, the anime ending was about to play. Like that's so that was fun. And then I stayed at Ludwig's house as well. That was good. Although there was so many noises, his cats and dogs kept moving around, and I'm not used to sleeping with them.
Right.
So they would keep like trying to scratch on the door or come in, and it was really sweet. It was nice. It was nice. Yeah. His cat is so goddamn cute. Have you seen Coots?
Yeah. The tiny white one, right? Yeah.
God, cute. Every time I see a pet, I'm like, that's so cute, but also fuck you because I want a pet so goddamn bad here, man.
I couldn't help myself. But anyway, it was Chris came to LA, and I was really excited to see what Chris thought about LA. Yeah. And it was pretty much what I thought. I'll let Chris come and tell his thoughts about LA. I'm sure he'll go off on one.
What was it like behind the scenes of the chess boxing event?
Yeah. So it was interesting because obviously I was staying at Ludwig's house, so a lot of the time I was kind of I was just tagging along to a lot of stuff whilst I was going to do other stuff. And so it seemed like it was kind of all working nicely, and then Ludwig had to just go from A to B and whatever. And so I was kind of just like, hi, yeah, I'm here. Hi, I'll turn up. And it didn't really start to get crazy until the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And that was kind of intense because you just turn up to this giant 5,000 person stadium, and there's just insane amounts of staff, and you're like, God damn, like this is all being coordinated by a streamer essentially, like, and his team. His team's amazing. But it was just absurd seeing all that equipment, all that gear, and it really felt like, oh shit, like I'm like kind of watching like a serious kind of broadcast almost. Like this is, I can't imagine it would look that different. And the weigh-in was fun. Before that as well, they had the interviews where I don't know, you saw the videos.
Oh yeah, I saw the videos. Yeah.
So they had 2 hotel rooms adjacent to each other, and they were both really fucking tiny. And so they did the interviews in the hallway of a hotel room, and I was sitting in the room next door, just talking to like Ludwig or whoever was there, just chatting away while they were getting interviewed. And then they would constantly go like, "Can you guys shut up in there? We can hear you really easily." So they did the interviews. I saw Chris, said hi to him, like, "All right, you excited?" Did the weigh-in. Everyone kind of you could tell that a lot of the fighters were like not really prepared to do like the whole, I don't know how to look serious or scary. So they're kind of like, oh. But it was really interesting. Some of them you could tell they were like, yeah, I'm gonna put on a show. I'm gonna do it. But dude, the air was so kind of like, it was like kind of faux tense. Like everyone was kind of like, we're all friends, right? We're gonna punch you the next day. And it was just kind of interesting seeing everyone kind of like slowly interact with their groups and kind of not talk. And then certain people were like not talking to other people because they were going to fight them. And like, I distinctly remember that Chris had said hi to his opponent.
Yeah.
And Chris's coach is insane. If you haven't seen any clips, he's like, there's a video of him basically beating up a 7-foot Korean man. And he's like 5'10", right? And he beats him in kickboxing, like a giant 7-foot man.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an insane clip. I'm sure Mudan can play a clip right now. It's fucking insane. This man's a machine.
Yeah.
And he's like full on like proper fighter kind of mindset. And Chris is Chris, right? So Chris is talking to his opponent, and then I'm just standing there watching this, and Nick goes up to Chris. He's like, "All right, Chris, now's the fight. No talking to him now. You got to focus. You're going to punch that guy. Don't be friendly with him." You can see Chris went like, oh. It was just weird seeing him like go like, he's like, "You're going to kill him. You can't talk to him." But that was the first time we got to see like Chris's opponent really show up.
Yeah.
Chris's opponent was scary.
Oh, he was fucking
Pretty
terrifying.
big. You can tell
he's a big guy.
So he isn't like very well trained in boxing. He's done a lot of other martial arts, and you can tell the guy's just been generally fit his whole life. Because you look at a guy and you're like, that's the man, that's the body of a man who has been exercising for a long time.
It's a shame you couldn't see like the Twitch chat
I wish I could have seen the Twitch chat, dude.
God. I was like dying laughing seeing like the Twitch chat, because like, you know, Chris has a lot of fans. Everyone was cheering for Chris.
Yeah.
And his opponent comes on, and everyone
was just
rip,
right?
It was just like it was just like a collectively, yo, rip Chris,
shit.
Man. Oh shit.
Well, because you see this man's pecs and this man's back muscles, you're like, oh shit. And then you realize you're like, oh, okay, like when you see them both, we saw them both like stand up, you're like, oh. So Chris had been training 6 months just to get like halfway to where this guy was before he even started, right? So like that's
we're about to witness a murder.
Right. So that's where it was like kind of having a lot of natural fitness helps so much with these things.
Sure.
And Chris was just trying to get rid of his like excess weight. Right?
Yeah.
And the way it was like, oh, this guy beats Chris in length, arm wingspan, in height, in weight. Chris only beats him in age. So maybe that has something, I don't know. And so obviously, Chris didn't really seem that nervous though. Chris seemed pretty confident about it. I think Chris felt like he had, maybe because he'd seen the clip of his opponent getting knocked out like a week earlier.
Right.
His opponent got knocked out in one punch a week earlier.
Right.
And I'm sure Mudan could play a bit of that clip. And so, I think it was like a bit worried, but also everyone was kind of a bit like, well, maybe Chris can do well.
Yeah. How was he in the dressing room beforehand?
Just kind of Chris, just sitting there. I think he was trying to just focus. He wasn't really like talking much. He was just kind of like doing it. And then I went off to go to my seat and watch.
Was he doing the thing that Chris does when he's concentrating, where he does the mouth thing?
Was
he doing that?
No, he didn't. Oh,
he does that a lot.
He might be pissed that you said that.
I've said it in video before.
All right. So the day of, so I knew obviously all the stuff that was going to happen. I knew that the table was going to come up from the sky, and I knew that Ludwig was going to have a slap match with XQC at the end.
Right.
So the day of, it's like 10 a.m. And like months prior to this, I told Ludwig, I was like, hey, if you ever need anything, you want me to get slapped or whatever, I'll do it. Back up. So that morning of the boxing, it's like 9 a.m. We're going over to go and pick up XQC, and he's just not there. Just straight up not at his house.
Jeez.
And then Ludwig's like, all right, fine, I'll just call. doesn't pick up his phone. And I'm like, is that normal? He's like, yeah, that's normal. That's normal. I'm like, wow, okay. So then we just drive to the venue and just kind of, he's like, yeah, I'm sure he'll respond. Because, you know, he's going on at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So he's got from like 10 till 7 p.m. to like reply.
All day.
Yeah, all day. And so we get to the venue. I get there very early, just kind of, because I'm there from like 11. The event doesn't start till 4. So I'm just looking around, just doing stuff, getting lunch, talking to people. And then, yeah, around 3 p.m. is when it kind of starts to get like, all right, okay.
Bit nervous.
Yeah, everyone starts to get a little bit more tense because everyone realized, all right, they're going to have to actually like go on and put on a fight. And, you know, Chris was just getting ready. Nick was doing up his like, the things that go on your arm. I can't remember what they're called. And then I'm like, all right, Chris, I'm going to go get to my seat. Good luck. And I'll come meet you before we do the walk-in. And so I'm sitting, I got like front row tickets. It's fucking awesome. The boxing's great. You can see everything. I can't see any of the chest though. I can't see it from where I'm sitting. And the screen is like up here, like directly up. And every time they went to play chess, initially it was broken. Like the board was broken, right? As you saw on the live stream. So it was kind of like, oh, all right. So I guess we were kind of like just quiet for like 2 minutes. And the boxing started. We're like, yeah, it's so good. Front row tickets are amazing for boxing because you see and hear all the punches really clearly. And dude, you can see their face when they're like struggling as well. It's a pretty fucking fun experience. All right. I'm as I say, from my sadistic standpoint, they get punched. So fun.
Look at these peasants fighting each other.
Exactly. And like the smash boxing was pretty fun. I think it all went pretty well.
Yeah.
And then I went to go and do the walking thing for Chris. I basically I told Chris before, I was like, yeah, you should do something when you go out. You should do like a funny bit or something. He was like, what? Why? I was like, well, because you know it's like a show. Like put on a show. Why not? You know, because it'll be clipped everywhere. There'll be a lot of people watching. And he was like, oh, okay. So he comes back a day later and he's like, all right, I've got an idea. We're going to throw candy into the crowd. And I was like, why? What reason are we doing this? So he was like, oh, it's Christmas, isn't it? I was like, all right, fine. It's your walkout. Let's do it. So we go out, have these candy buckets, and I'm just trying to hype him up and hype the crowd up, right? And whatever. We walk out, and that was really fun. And I just immediately go to my seat, and I'm watching him. And man, it was intense. It was intense watching Chris. I'm sure were you guys watching from home as well?
Oh, yeah, I was watching from home, yeah.
Yeah, it was, the boxing started, and it looked like Chris was not doing great. So I think it was like, oh no. And then the chess happened, and then Chris started winning, and we're like, oh my God, yes, Chris is crushing it. Chris is literally about to win. And then the boxing happened again. We're like, all right, just survive. And Chris wasn't really getting in many punches, right? Chris was kind of like dodging and just moving around.
It felt like watching like, you know, someone take on a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah,
he was just like dodging, like he was just like
iframes.
Literally, he was just like, how many iframes can I get out of this? I'm seeing him like try to win at the chess.
Yeah. And I mean, there's definitely like, it seemed like he's way more experienced, at least in some form of combat sports, right? Like you can tell because he's constantly going in, he knows his reach and he's playing with it. Whereas Chris is a bit more defensive and kind of just trying to survive.
Yeah.
he's spamming the roll button in Dark Souls. And then, he threw massively.
Yeah.
In chess. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's lost because he's not going to beat him in boxing. Yeah. And he's not going to beat him in chess now. But somehow his opponent was even shitter at chess. So it all worked out and Chris won in the end. But it was intense. It was like 40 minutes long. I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Oh, no, same here. Like watching that shit live, I was just seeing like Chris kind of like clutch at the end with the chess. I was fucking screaming, man.
Yeah, it was hype. It was hype. I think Chris was a bit disappointed that he didn't do better in boxing. I'm sure, again, he'll talk about all this stuff when he comes on too.
Congratulations on getting like a big W and not throwing yourself, by the way.
So during the Andrea fight, so about the third to last fight, Ludwig comes up to me. He's like, so X hasn't replied to me at all. And it's like 5-something PM.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, well, I guess, I'm down. Let's do it. And so he's like, all right, cool. I was like, by the way, please don't try and slap me too hard. I have a blood thing, so just don't try and kill me. Yeah. And so he was like, oh, okay, just slap me as hard as you want, and I'll reciprocate. And I was like, okay, cool. That works nicely. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm realizing, I'm like, wait, how the fuck am I going up? Like, how is any of this working? Like, I don't understand how any of this is going to happen. Like, I'm sitting here, like, the tech guys don't know I'm going up. So, like, there's no way, like, there's no graphics or anything. Like, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck? How does this gonna work? Like, what do I do? What do I like? What do I even like? Do I do a bit? What do I do? And again, it's 2 hours, and I've been drinking a bunch of beers before this was free.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck yeah, I want to drink beer and watch boxing. And so I was like, oh shit, I guess I should stop drinking beer. So I stopped drinking the beer, but then I found out that later on, after the fight, that Ludwig started drinking shots before because he wanted to get ready for it. I was like, shit, I should have kept drinking. So, like 30 minutes before I'm about to go up, because the fights could either be 5 minutes or 30, right?
Yeah.
So I was like shitting myself. I'm like, fuck, I don't know like when I'm going up, because the Toast versus Point Crow match started. And it looked like Toast was about to lose immediately. And so I was like, shit, I'm about to go up. So I started getting really fucking nervous. And one of Ludwig's team comes to me, and I'm like, yeah, so like, how is this working? Like, what the fuck do I do? And they were like, well, we'll figure it out in a sec. So the fight ends. And just before the fight ends, Ludwig comes over and he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw it to you, and you're going to come in and do whatever you want. I was like, do whatever I want. What do you mean? Like, I'm like, give me a role. Am I the bad guy, the good guy? Give me something. Like, I need to know. And he was like, oh, well, just whatever feels right. I'm like, oh my God, okay, fine. So then, yeah, I'm sitting there and then watching it, and I didn't know when they were going to cue.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like, all right, waiting. And they go, is there anyone in the audience who wants to slap Ludwig? And I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'll put my hand up.
There's this great shot on screen of just you just like casually like, yes, my time, finally, my time has come.
So yeah, I thought to myself, I was like, I want to make it look as like suave and casual as possible, so that when I go up, it looks really like fucking extra and over the top. So I just sat there like, yeah, okay. I guess I'll slap. I guess I can. And then, yeah, really surreal hearing fucking Germa go, is that Sea-Dog? Germa's so fucking cool, man. Germa's such a nice guy.
He seems like such a cool dude.
And then going up, and I was like, all right, whatever. It's just all autopilot. I'll just figure it out. We'll just do it. And I hope I did a good job. I don't know. Maybe the audience, I saw a lot of nice comments, so I'm hoping that I did.
Yeah, you did a great
but it went
job.
really well.
Yeah.
And it was a good match. We slapped each other. Everyone kept saying that we were faking our slaps. We were, to be fair, the last 2 slaps were pretty hard. The first 2 were like, yeah, we were holding back.
Yeah.
Because we also didn't. I was at the mindset of like, I'm not actually trying to injure him. Like, I don't actually want to hurt him.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to make it look hard without actually injuring him.
Yeah.
I did give him a little bit of a bruise on the last slap that I got him pretty good with. He did ask me to go a lot harder, so I did. But I still didn't do like fully 100%.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I feel like that you don't need that.
That's a bit excessive.
I feel like, is that really going to add to anything if I give him a concussion? I feel like I don't think he needs that.
People want to see death, Connor. You know,
Yeah.
I know they do, but I'm like,
They want to see a knockout.
I don't think we need it. I don't think it needed to happen, but I think it all worked out, and I got my belt. I didn't choke. I think it was he definitely wanted to get the clock closer.
Yeah.
At some points, he wanted to get it I think very close. So he's a master at stalling for content.
Yeah.
But I think he accidentally stalled
He stalled a bit too long.
I think he actually tried to win.
Yeah.
He might say he threw for content. I think he actually tried to win, because if you watch back, you can see him trying to press the clock again. And he just didn't press it in time. Right. But then we also broke so many rules. Like I totally forgot. You're not allowed to move a chess piece and then press the clock with the other hand. But then also, half of these matches, no one fucking played the chess correctly anyway. So why do people
Some
care?
people just like moved a piece and didn't even press the clock.
Yeah, like Chris's opponent did it a few times. So I was like, yeah, got it, got my dub, got the belt. I was a happy boy.